It's 12:36 in the morning. I can't sleep, so I thought I would take this time when it's quiet in the house to talk about something that's pretty important. And I know most of the stream is black. That's going to change soon. Back in 1985, a man named Larry Wall was tired of writing very complicated programs in C to do very simple jobs like parsing text documents. And he wrote an interpreted language, to help him with this process and to make his life easier. He called it the Practical Extraction and Report Language, or perl. And it is, again, copyright 1985. It's old. It's a very old language. But it has since seen 5 major revisions. And they are still, as far as I know, working on a 6th. It is immensely powerful. And based in C, it's very similar to other languages that are now starting to take over, like Python, Ruby, PHP. Perl does all the same things, but it does, in my opinion, those same things much smarter. And it does it because, well, if you've ever used PHP, you'll know that the main namespace is absolutely bloated with stuff. There's so many first level functions that there is no room to define your own. And you should not define your own functions in the main namespace. That's what classes are for. But there's a lot of bloat. And when you install PHP, you get a just gigantic language that does a million things, and you don't need a million things. You need 5 things. Especially if you're just building a web application. You need a database, or a database API. PHP has 2 of those. 2 different ways to use a database. If you probably need a templating solution, PHP has that built in via its include and its required functions, as well as other toolkits that have been built in PHP to also help you with that, which those are their own classes. And again, they're not part of the bloat. Perl was not built for this, but it does it. It does it well, and it's what I use for web development. As far as I know, Ruby doesn't really do that out of the box, but that's why we have Ruby on Rails. Python can be coerced into doing most things. But I don't like Python. I don't like it because I don't like writing it. There's nothing really wrong with the language. It's fine. I just don't like white space delimited languages. I find it irritating to use. I like my little curly braces. And yeah, it's because I'm old. And that's okay. If you like writing Python, I'm not going to hold it against you. But let me show you Perl. This is very cool. And now you see me to infinity. Other way. I keep forgetting my camera's backwards, so my left is my right. It's very weird. Alright. First thing we're going to do is spin up a VM. Don't mind my desktop, I know it's a disaster. Okay, I'm going to use my Rocky Linux install. This doesn't actually work. CentOS is pretty broken. I should probably get that fixed. Alright. I do not use Linux from the with a GUI ever. I don't like it with a GUI. I think X Windows just makes things very heavy, and honestly, this is a web server, so there's no reason for it to have a GUI. In fact, there was no reason for me to even log into it to begin with. For that, I have Kitty. And we're going to log in as... Okay. I don't think there's a way for me to make this bigger. But it does not appear to be a way to make it bigger. It's a pretty minimalistic terminal. So at first we're going to go to alright, yes, I installed something in the opt directory. I don't want to hear BS about you're not a distribution manager. Yes, I am. This is a professional product that I have used many times. So, alright, well, I'll start Apache. Now I have everything, I literally call the directory framework because it is a framework installation. All the tools that are part of this product live inside of this framework directory. That way I do not depend on any outside libraries. So if anything with the operating system is ever updated, it doesn't break me. If anything from the operating system is removed via a package manager like Yum or RPM, it doesn't break me. All of my stuff is built from source, wrapped up in an RPM, and then pushed onto a test box, and then eventually production. So now we will start the Postgres database, which is also bin pg-ctl-l, so we can define our log file, if I can type. Alright, started. And then there's a little bit of a breakage with the way I installed this. So I had to write a script to link the unit sockets. That didn't work, because you have to do that as root. There we go. Oh, maybe it did work. Well, we'll find out in a second, won't we? This was me testing it before I started the stream. So I'll just refresh this. And yeah, it works. And that is exactly what I would expect to see. Because if I cd, Jesus, there we go. But wow, I really can't type today. There we go. Auto handler. Yep, there's my print for hello world. This was absolutely unnecessary. I could just as easily have done this and got exactly the same output. It's just HTML, you know, but I wanted to test that everything's working. And if you have never used this toolkit before, this is going to look really weird to you. But this is how I test that the installation's working. And yes, I use Vi. And yes, the Prime engine is much better at using Vi than I am. But you see, I put in 2 plus 2, and it just printed out 4. That's because what's happening here is that the web server's request is being, or response is being grabbed by a toolkit called HTML Mason, or the MasonX request with Apache. Or no, I'm sorry, that's not it. That one's not in use here. The Mason request object is hooking the Apache response, filling in any data that it needs between these special tags. And there's a few more tags than just this, like this init block up here. That's part of HTML Mason as well. And it will automatically and dynamically do. This is your template. This is templating in Perl. Well, in Perl with a tool. Now, I use HTML Mason. That is my favorite product. There is also Catalyst, and there is also Template Toolkit, and there may be more. Those are just the three I've heard of. God knows there's probably more. There are more Perl hackers out there than there are anything else. But HTML Mason is my favorite. So that's what I use. You can also use Perl blocks, right? Not, is it that way? It's been a long time. Yeah, it's that way. And I can just say, print 2 plus 2, and because of the nature of how things are calculated, that will also just print 4. Or I can just put another 2 in there, and I get 6, as you should. Now, what I use is not without issue. There are problems. So as I said, this is a templating solution, or HTML Mason is a templating solution. So the core thing that a templating solution can do is allow you to include other files as resources and import their code directly into the document you're currently working on. And we have that. Say m comp, right? I can say, unfortunately I'm working on a project I already started working on, so be prepared for some issues. Comps header dot comp. Okay. By the way, the quote that you use is not terribly important. You can use single quotes or double quotes. I prefer to use double quotes when I'm writing a full string. And this should throw an error. I made a mistake. One-liners of Perl have to have a %sign in the very first column. They have to. And it throws an error. It throws an error because this file does not exist. So we're going to say touch comps header.comp. And now it exists. We're going to go back into the auto handler. And I'll explain what that is in a minute, the special files that Mason uses. You don't have to call components this way. That's a little gross, honestly. We like our code nested. So you can also use this nomenclature. Okay, the bracket and then an ampersand. And that does exactly the same thing. Now that doesn't actually show you anything because that file's empty. So let's throw some data in header.comp. We'll just say h1 IMA. That's not an A. Header. There we go. Big exclamation point on there. Let everybody know how excited about Perl we are. And boom! I'm a header. Okay. Cool. Let's go back to our auto handler. And do something fun with this. Let's send it an argument. Let's say I want to do a, let me not do that. Let me demonstrate this properly. So first thing I'm going to do is ls comps. What do I have in there? I have an overall header. That's even funnier. I already have a gen box by cat gen box. Oop. All right, beautiful. That'll work. Okay. let's do this. We're going to say m comps gen box.comp. It was a comp, right? I don't remember. Yeah. Sometimes I use TMPL files, sometimes I use comp. It depends on how I'm using them and how complicated what I'm writing is. For smaller projects, I just use comp for everything. It's my way of telling myself that that's just a component and not a full HTML file. And it should never be called directly from the browser. Now, if I call this, it's probably going to throw an error. It didn't, but it didn't do anything. And it didn't do anything because I have to send it some arguments. I'm going to say title, and then message. There it is. Now this is really rudimentary, I know, and that's okay. By comps genbox.comp. The way this works is we have an arg section up here, and this allows us to declare arguments or variables for the Perl interpreter that will look like they're being declared globally. They're not. They are scoped to this component. So all components in Mason are functions. So these are scoped to that function, or for the purposes of explanation, the component. So we can show those variables directly into our HTML this way. And this is basically how you template. Okay, so now if I say by auto handler. So what's an auto handler? Well, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Actually, let's get rid of all of this and get back to a white document. Perfect. Okay. Well, a mostly white document. You see, I've got some stuff here. Yeah, we're gonna change this to video demo. As I said, I was working on something. All right. Oh, right. Because this is the auto handler, we're going to put a special call here to say m call next. Now the auto handler basically wraps every single call that comes in. The call, because we didn't specify a file in our URL, is going to be index.html or whatever is set in the server settings. You know, we all know that, you know, if you've been hacking at web servers for a while, you know that can be changed. And you also know that if you've been hacking at web servers for a while, there is never a reason to change it. It should be index dot whatever the common extension you're using is, whether it's HTML, PHP, ASP. Don't change it. Leave it alone. It's index. It's fine. All right. So let's go into our index, which contains no information, and we will just say 2 plus 2. That's it. And there's my 4 right there. It looks terrible mashed against the side of the screen there. So let's style it up a little bit. Div. Did I use hyphens instead of underscores this time? I probably did. I did. Alright, and there's our 4. So that works. And you can see if I open my inspector, then all that previous code I had written that's in the auto handler is still there, and it is still being generated, but this is being called by the mCallNext function. Now, M is a default variable, well, it's a default object that you receive when you install Mason correctly. And installing Mason correctly is a lot outside the scope of this video. And if anyone watches this and is interested in it, let me know, and I will make a video on that. But it is a several hour long process of, I will do the whole installation of Apache, of Perl, of mod Perl, and then of HTML Mason, and how to configure everything to work together to do the magic that I'm doing. Alright, so now we know this is good. And if you're not familiar with Perl, you should be familiar with Perl, especially if you are 35 years old or older, because the language really was in its own about that time. When you were in your 25th year or so, if you're in your 30s. If you're older than that, you probably already know Perl, if you're a hacker at any level of competency. If you're new to programming, if you're new to software design, I don't know that Perl is the language for you. It was my first language. Perl was absolutely the first scripting language I learned that I could do server-side operations with. I say that because JavaScript is technically the first scripting language I learned, and that does not do server-side, or it didn't back then. Now we have Node.js. Alright. So I want to do database operations. I started a database. What am I using that database for? Well, a lot of things. But as of this very second, I'm not using it. I'm not using it for anything at all. So let's go into configuration here for the Apache server. Conf htt.conf. Okay. I didn't note it. That's special. Okay, here's my, I did, but it's search is case specific. Okay. Oh, I do have a fix-up handler. Okay, this is specialty stuff, and we'll talk about that if I do the other video on configuration. This is actually to fix a bug with the way mod Perl works under Apache 2. Directories do not render correctly. Well, they don't serve correctly. It just throws a 403, which is access forbidden, instead of releasing the request because it doesn't know what to do with it, and letting Apache handle it with a different handler. It's kind of one of the downfalls of Perl. Perl will kind of gobble things up and spit out what it wants, and if it can't, it will just shit itself. It's one of the few times that Perl kind of annoys me, but the language itself makes up for it 100-fold often enough. Alright, and this is what it's the directory index. No, that's not it. There's a module that specifically handles directories. It should be like dir magic type or something like that. Or maybe that's just what Perl calls it, I can't remember. You'll notice that a lot of these modules are commented out. There's just no reason for me to use them, and every module you enable in your server that you aren't actively using to provide a feature is potentially opening a security flaw. You're creating vectors of attack. So never. This is it. Mod dir. This is a handler as well, and if basically mod perl gets first dibs on a request, and if it can't handle a request, it's supposed to decline handling it and then hand the request back to Apache, and Apache will handle Apache HTTPD, and Apache will then send the response to the next handler in chain. Unfortunately, Perl doesn't do that. It just craps itself because it's like, no, this is not a thing I do. So it gets angry. Anyway, this fix-up handler is how you sort that out. And I don't know if I really want to get into that, but oh crap. Oh my god. Oh, that'll work. Bye. What am I doing? This is the basics for an Apache handler in Perl. This just basically makes sure that your handler is already set to Perl script, which it should be because this is currently firing, but in the event that it's not, and that this is a bit of interesting nomenclature that Perl can use, which mimics bash scripting. It's just saying, is our file name a directory? R is the global variable used that represents the Apache response and request. It's a bit weird, and it depends on where you're using it. So then we intentionally fire the dir magic type if it is. Otherwise, and we return an OK, which is the 200. Otherwise we decline it, and this will hand the request back to Apache so that Apache can do the right thing with it. I have that re-implemented under a different namespace in my actual configuration. There's a little bit more code in it to do some other magics with fix-ups, and I kind of don't want to show that code off because showing off too much of code you're actually using also, opens up vectors of attack. So there was one other thing I wanted to show in the configuration file. So we'll go back to our framework directory. And that is this, which is Perl module. This allows you to specifically call Perl modules by their namespace or what they're installed as. This is the fix-up handler that I wrote, that I was just talking about, and obviously Mason, you gotta have that. This is the old version of that I just showed you that I now have removed. We can just delete that actually. And okay, so this is the important bit though. The ability to write Perl into an application or a web application is all great and all, but inlining Perl directly into a web page is a really bad idea. I mean, inlining Perl or any language directly into a served HTML page is a bad idea. You wouldn't do it with PHP. You certainly wouldn't do it with Python. You certainly wouldn't do it with Ruby on Rails. That's what templating solutions are for. So you need a place that you can put your code that's safe. Now, most languages will have you write your scripts and put them in an include directory or a scripts directory, but all of those files live inside of the web root, which the web root is the htdocs folder or wherever you know configure it to be. But a default Apache layout is you have your server directory, which contains an htdocs folder, and that is your standard directory that you serve out of. Honestly, there's thousands of different ways to configure that, using home directories, using other, but the point is your scripts will always be inside of the web root, and that is a vector of attack. This changes all of that. Okay. So let's say I need a new library that I'm going to include in my web application that can, I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this when I started streaming. That just can do some arbitrary database functionality. Let's do the standard. We're fetching and getting users, okay, with passwords and stuff. Okay. Let's do that. So we're gonna create a new library, and I guess we'll just call it demo. And I'm just going to auto-generate it with h2xs-x, which the -x command there, if you're not familiar, it just tells h2xs that we're not really binding to a C header, and this is going to be a pure Perl module. Because h2xs is actually designed for XS code, which is a special hybrid language which allows you to use XS to bind Perl functions to a C library. It's very, very cool glue. I don't use it a whole lot because my C is not very good. Alright, let's get into this. So now I got this demo directory that it creates for me, and it's got some pretty basic stuff in it, including a makefile. Via lib, demo.pm. Alright, first thing we're going to do is get rid of all this stuff. I actually could have specified flags to h2xs to be rid of all of this, but I never think to do it, so. Okay. We actually don't need that either. And I don't use autoload. And I won't be needing an exporter. I did that backwards. Jeez. It's been a while since I've had to write a class. Alright, what does that do? Well, Perl doesn't have the concept of a new function like other object-oriented languages do. You have to write it yourself. And it's usually the first thing you write. This is a bare bones new, which will, well, let's start at the top here. I say my this is shift. My is just a scoping determiner. It tells the interpreter that the variable I'm declaring lives inside of this scope. There's also our, which is special, and it's pretty much global scope. And then there's also local. Local is breaking. If you don't understand Perl, the interpreter, the stack, and the heap, do not fuck with local. Okay, local's a problem for a lot of apps. Actually, HTML Mason makes a lot of use of local, but the guy that wrote HTML Mason, Dave Rolsky, is a much better programmer than a lot of people. So probably leave that alone. Anyway, so I shift with no argument to shift, which this could easily have just been that as well. It tells Perl that I want to pull the first thing off the stack, which is always the package name, because this is a method. This is a class method. So the first thing that's sent to a method is the class name. That's what makes it a method. Alright. Then I say my class is reference this, or just this. And that is because you never know the context in which another app is going to call your library, and that can be breaking. So this will clean that up and normalize stuff. Myself, and then I have a self with an anonymous hash assigned to the version of the module. That just puts something in the hash so that it's a real hash in memory. Realistically, I could have also said this, and that would have been acceptable as well, but that's not how I do it. And then return bless self class. Bless is the Perl special keyword to create basically an object out of a class name. And the object that's being created there is actually self. Self is a special thing in the way that Perl does this, so that any other functions I call are going to bind into self, and it gets passed as a hash reference called in a scalar context. It's very odd. I know I'm making this, I was talking about how great Perl is. It's very confusing to try to explain the magic that is happening under the covers here. But let's write a real method now that actually does something. How about encrypting passwords. So a lot of web developers do this wrong, and it's sad. It's actually terrifying to me to think how many websites people sign up for where they shove a password into a box, and that password gets saved to the database in plain text. And I don't know why that happens. That's wrong. But more than wrong, it's easy to fix. I'm going to do it in Perl here, obviously, but it's actually easy to fix in any language because almost every language has a method to do this. And that method is usually called crypt or hash. So what we're going to say is, we're going to use a constant here. So we're going to say use constant salt. And we're going to just make the salt demo. It's not a very good salt, but again, it's for demonstrative purposes only. So we're going to say sub Notice that there's no parentheses here with declarations of variables. You can do that. Perl does let you prototype your methods, but it is not necessary. And I learned Perl before prototyping was a thing, so this is just what I do. I will probably never use prototypes unless I have a really good reason to do so, and that really good reason is going to be it breaks if I don't. That's it. Okay. First thing we say, because it's a method, the first thing that's handed to the method is going to be the class name, so let's get that. Okay. So now the first thing has been pulled off the stack, and that is the class name. this function is only going to take one more argument, and that is going to be the string that we're going to hash up and make never readable again, and to make ready for inserting into a database. So we're going to say my pass equals crypt shift. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to do it that way because that's going to make assumptions. So we just do it this way. My pass equals shift. Okay. And I can say return undef if not defined pass. Oh, we don't do it that way anymore. If not pass. Okay. And that'll just prevent us from creating interesting bad situations if the function's ever called in null context. So now we'll say my hashed pass equals crypt pass salt. Then we can return hashed pass. Okay, now let's go ahead and just make. I'm in the wrong directory. No. Oh, perl makefile .pl make test sudo make install. Yeah. I know you got ones. I didn't actually write any tests for it. I know. You should write good tests for your libraries. I'm skipping that bit for now because that's not the point. All right. And this is called demo. That is the class name I just wrote. So we're going to go back to our framework. Okay, we're going to by conf http.conf, and we're just going to include that. So we're going to say perl module demo, since I just installed it. And it's installed in a place outside of the web root, which was the point. Okay, that is perl-e print. No, let me just go interactive actually. Perl. Let's say for each for each adding print dollar underscore. Well, that wasn't expected. Oh, I have to terminate the does that really not run that way? Am I so noobish that I forgot how to use Perl Interactive? Wow. Oh no, the problem here is that I thought I was writing Python. Okay. And it probably doesn't like the semicolon. And it probably doesn't like the quotes. Really? Huh. It's the first time it's ever done that. But okay, let's first of all, am I using the right pearl? I am. Okay, that's good. There. So it's going to check all of these directories, which are outside of the web root, because as I said, the web root is opt framework htdocs httpd or httpd htdocs. So this my code that I just wrote for that demo module is in one of these places that Perl will search. All right, let's go back to our framework directory. Let's go to our auto handler, and we're gonna use demo. Now instead of calling that, no, I'm wrong. I don't want to do any of that. Okay. By index.html, we'll do it from here. Alright, we're going to say init use demo. Actually, I don't have to use demo because I included it in the config. So I can just say my x equals demo new. There's that call to the new function. You can also, if you prefer, you can go like that if you like. You can do that. I do not do it that way because that is the way I actually wrote the function. And I know that Perl doesn't really know what the new keyword is, so I choose not to make it more confusing than it is. So now let's encrypt the password. I want to print x encrypt pass is the name of the function that I made, and let's just put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 in there. Okay, I know, terrible password, terrible. Okay, and again, this is a line of Perl, so I have to put that at line 1. And if I refresh this, it throws an error because I didn't close the init block correctly. And scalar failure operator expected. That's weird. It's probably not. I'm sure I forgot to do something. Missing semicolon on previous line. I am in fact missing a semicolon there. Thank you, Carp. Can't look at object method new via package demo. Perhaps you forgot to load demo. Okay, did I miss the fact where the part where the test failed? Like, did that happen and I wasn't paying attention? Probably. No, it passed just fine. Okay. Opt framework by index. I think I know what the problem is. I think you do have to use demo like that because I didn't. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, yeah, because I didn't do the other configuration thing to make sure that that's always loaded in memory and assigned to a variable. Alright, so as you can see, that's the disaster of code, or that's the disaster of stuff that Perl creates when you hash something. So let's do another god awful password. Yeah, it's a secret, man. And that's what it turns out to. Okay. Now, when you hash a password as opposed to when you encrypt a password, these are very different things. Encryptions involve keys, which means the data is locked and can thus be unlocked and put back together into the state it used to be in. That's not good. That's not good for passwords. That's fine for encoded transfers, for stream data, that's fine. But for a password, there is zero reason to ever do that. Use a hash. And the reason you do that is because you as a developer should never know what your users' passwords are, and you should never have access to that information. And if you're a new developer, the next question you might ask is, well, then how do I know if my user is successfully logged in? And the answer is very simple. When the user goes to your website and creates a new account, you hash their password and you store it in the database. And then when your user comes back to log in, they put in their email address or their username or whatever you use for credentials, and they put in their password. And then you take that password and you run it through the same hashing algorithm. And then compare them on the outside. So you take the user's password, hash it, pull the user, use the username to find the user's password in the database, pull the password, and compare the values. And Perl will always hash things the same way every time, based on that salt. If the salt changes, the output will change. However, that's why we define salt as a constant at the top of the library and then never change it. Leave it alone. There's no reason to ever change that. I mean, short of having a major problem, you know. But if you're ever in a situation where that's a thing, changing your password salt is probably the least of your concerns. You've got some cleaning up to do and some apologies to send to some users. Alright, so I was going to get into database stuff and actually using the database, but there is quite a bit of setup that's involved with that. And I realized I need to create a new database from scratch, which I can do, but I don't want to. It's a lot. It's going to make this video very, very long. But you can see here in my taskbar, I've got pgadmin 4. Is that what this one is? 4. So that I can connect to my database in my VM, and then or my database server rather, and I can create a database there for demo purposes. Again, that'll be a video for another time. If you guys are interested in it and you want to see that, then let me know. If you've not used Postgres, or Postgres, depends on who you talk to, try it. It's very good. It gives you almost all the same functions that you would get out of like Oracle Enterprise Database, and it gives it to you for free. That is very cool. Postgres is part of the GNU GPL. All of their code, I believe, is... Actually, I don't know what repository they're in. I don't know if they use GitHub or what they're using. But that is how you get Postgres. You download the source code and compile it yourself. And I highly recommend you do that. And if you don't know how, then leave a comment or a message on the video, and I will absolutely try to do that. And now that I've said that, I need to go check my chat, because I have not been able to see my chat for the entirety of this video. And there's Gaming Forever, and I'm super sorry, bro. This is the second time that I've done this to you, where you've messaged me in chat, and I just was completely freaking oblivious to it. So, are you even still there? I left this thing in emote only. Oh my god. I am the worst streamer ever. I will get myself properly unfucked here at some point or another. Oh my god, my everything is I just closed my chat. Oh my god. I am so bad at this. I need my... I will reset UI. No, I don't want to do that. I just want the... chat. There we go. And I go back to this. There we go. Now all of my things work correctly again. Alright, hey, what's going on? I tell you, I am the worst streamer ever. I am terrible at this. I am terrible at remembering to turn things on and off. I'm supposed to remember to put my chat in emote only mode when I'm done streaming, and then I'm supposed to turn it back, back to regular mode when I am streaming. And the reason for that is because as creators, we're still responsible for what happens in chat, even when we're offline. So you leave it in emote only mode, that way people aren't typing ignorant, racist slurs and all sorts of terrible things that'll get me canceled. But then I forget to turn it back off so that you can actually type and talk in there, so you're just hitting me with all of the pretty emotes that I wasn't watching because I was, I have to get a second monitor so I can leave OBS over there and just... Oh my god. Fucking disaster. Anyway, how long have you been here? It's 1 o'clock. It's 1:30. I've been talking for a while. I'm good. I can't sleep, so I'm doing a thing where I'm using Twitch to record my video for me, and then I can download it from Twitch and upload it to YouTube. Yeah, I see your first message was at 1:04 a.m. and it's now 1:24 a.m. I'm terrible at this. I'm better when I'm streaming like Once Human with my wife, because she will remind me to do all of the things I'm supposed to do, like fix chat and fix my microphone and all the other stupid things. Oh Jesus, I'm a dumbass. I'm a genius. I'm a dumbass. But I've been talking about Perl, which is a language that is near and dear to my heart. I love Perl. Is the first programming language I learned. It stands for the Practical Extraction and Report Language. It was written by Larry Wall in 1985. It's very old, but incredibly powerful, and it's what a lot of these other newer languages are based on, like Python and Ruby and PHP. They all have the same common ancestor, right? So let me just get here. Okay. Oh god, it's ugly. Control. Where's my mouse? Right there. We'll switch this to black, this to white, this to here. Okay, and then Control A and delete there. That's a lot easier on the eyes. So here we have C. And from C we got C++. Okay? And from C++ we got some other derivative languages like Python and PHP. But from C we got Perl. And Perl is an amazing, amazing language. Because it does the stuff that this does, it does the stuff that this does, and let's see, Ruby's in there too. There we go, being more and more like Thor every day. Game engines that use Perl, there are probably exactly 0. Perl does have a weakness, and it is that it does not do visuals. There is a library for it to do that. It is the GD library, I think. Let's see. Let's go over to CPAN and find out. That's not how you spell CPAN. Alright, CPAN is the place where you can find all of the... Okay. cpan.org. Why is my computer doing that? CPAN. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god. Not .com, just give, there we go, that's the one. .org. Okay. I believe it's called GD. CPAN is where you can find all of the extensions to the language. It's kind of like, well, now I can't think of what it's called. But Python and Node.js all have tools to go get packages to extend their languages. CPAN is the package for Perl. So yeah, there's GD, which is the interface to the GD graphics library. But this is really low-level stuff. Like, this isn't an engine. This is a hook to video graphics. You would have to build the engine on top of that. There are some helpers. There you go. This makes SVGs for you. That's pretty cool, actually. Create GD text, so you can create, textual stuff using graphics. But Perl is, again, it works like a CGI. So it's Common Gateway Interface. You put shit in, it does stuff with it, and shits something out. So, like this GD text, okay? This would be used to create an image that you would save to disk. I would never trust anything in Perl to run on the fly and be pumping something into the frame buffer of a video card. That's not a good use for Perl. That's going to have really big problems for you. Yeah, I don't usually turn my camera on. And the reason for that is, if you look behind me, because my house is a mess. I have kids. I have 3 of them. And they destroy everything. 11 out of 10 do not recommend. But also because there's usually scuttlebutt around. My mother-in-law's awake running around. My wife's running back and forth. And she doesn't want to be on cam. So I just leave my camera off because it's easier than trying to fight with it. Or have somebody constantly tapping me on the shoulder going, cover that thing, cover that thing. So I just leave it off. But it's 1:30 in the morning. I can do whatever I want now. Crap, I keep clicking that. I shouldn't. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, the life of an adult. It's 11 out of 10, don't recommend that either. I've been doing this for far too long. I just turned 41, man. I just turned 41. I am just... I'm getting way too old, way too fast. Yeah, well, that's the joke, right? I love my kids. My kids are fantastic. They're they are some of the coolest tiny humans I have ever met in my life, and they drive me absolutely bonkers on a daily basis. Like, this is my remote child displacement device. When they're loud, when they're angry, when they're fighting with each other, I just blast one of them with it. Okay? It doesn't come out very fast. These are really, really shitty Nerf guns. Like, you could pop yourself right in the eyeball with this thing, it wouldn't hurt. I wouldn't recommend it, but it wouldn't hurt. Yeah, and it also works on the cats. And that's actually why it was here originally, was because the cats kept sharpening their claws on the end of the railing for the stairs, and I was shooting them away from that. And then my middle child was being an absolute terror one day, and he was pissing me off. And I just turned around and shot him in the back of the head, and the instant silence I got was fucking classic. So, it's great. It's a great thing. Now the kids hear me cock it. They just hear that, and they're like, He was just, and it's funny because my middle child does not stop talking. Ever. Actually, neither does my youngest, now that I think about it. Which is another reason that a lot of times, like when I stream, especially during the day, if I'm streaming a game or something, I won't even have my microphone on, because there's no point in trying. You won't hear anything I say. All you will hear is the children just being loud. But no, Perl's no good for game development, unfortunately. Now I say that, but like you could do a browser-based game with this. Do I have it? Darkroom. This is really good. This is an incremental game. If you've okay, so that's a really good question, right? Do we? No, this is hard plastic. I would not throw that at the children. That's rude, and also can get your children taken away from you. The children are trained. When I shoot them with the dart, they bring it back to me, which I find deeply hilarious. Wait, why did I do that? Oh, that's okay. I got the message, even though Nightbot deleted it. Why did it do that? Oh, okay. I have to tune Nightbot. Let's look into that. I don't want it doing that. I do not want it doing that at all. Wow, that is obnoxiously bright. There we go. All right. Yeah, I definitely don't want it trying to limit messaging from users. That's not acceptable. I get why it's there. Okay, here it is. We're going to disable that. Caps are fine. Symbols are fine. Links, no, we're not going to do that, but we're going to leave links off. And yeah, this has to stay on because I've got a bunch of racial slurs and stuff typed in there. That should be better. Is there an apply, or is it It applies automatically, right? Let's check. Spam protection again. Yeah, that should be fine now. Alright. Yeah, we're not, crap baskets. Okay. Jeez. Alright, so yeah, this is a dark room if you've never seen this. It's just a web-based game. It is literally no more than just clicking things and waiting for timers. I have to turn this off so that you can actually see the timers. Oh, I forgot there's sounds. Just gather wood and check traps, right? And then these are little timers that tick down as you play. This is absolutely something you could do with Perl and the templating toolkit that I use. Alright, the sounds here are really, really gross and I don't want them. Where's the sounds? Not what I want. That's better. This is a really, really cool game. Thor from Pirate Software has talked about it a little bit. And I went and checked it out, and I was like, oh, that's neat. And there's a lot of like little web-based games like this. In fact, DoubleClick Games has a bunch of them, or DoubleSpeak, not DoubleClick. These are all little web-based games that they wrote, and so web-based games like this that work slowly. Basically, Perl would be fine with because there's no real graphics to output or anything. Crap, I gotta turn my thing back on. But trying to use it as part of a game engine, no. No. Now, you could embed it, like, have you played Minecraft? Your name is there. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh. Oh, yeah. Well, that's because you're my only chatter. I mean, save for my wife, who has thrown a few emotes here and there, just to let me know that she was in the chat. But yeah, you are literally my only chatter, ever. All right, do you play modded Minecraft? Have you ever used a mod called ComputerCraft, which embeds the Lua interpreter into everybody's favorite block game? Okay, that's actually really cool. All right, let's go to, what is it, Curse? I think is, yeah, oh my god, yeah, that's what I wanted. Curse Forge. Minecraft. By Dan200, there it is. What this does is it makes a new block in the game that is a computer, little robots that are called turtles, and variable sized monitors that actually stick together, and modems of wired and wireless types. And you can open them up, you can right click them, that's just the block base, and it opens up a GUI, and it lets you actually write Lua programs that will input and output redstone signals, can work over the red power, and then later it was Project Red bundle cables so that you can send color coded signals down bundles, and you can control a whole bunch of different automations with them. It's really cool, and I love computer craft. I think it's fantastic. But the important part is that they took the Lua interpreter and shoved it into Minecraft, which is written in Java. So you can actually write one language from another language, and it works. You could absolutely do that with Perl. Absolutely. With a few, issues. It wouldn't work from Java, and it's because they compile differently. It probably could work, but it'd be very, very risky how you went about it. And there's the potential for, serious security problems. So you would want a way to contain the code that's running, and you can't do that with Java because Java compiles the bytecode, and Perl is written in C, so it compiles to machine code. They live in separate spaces. So you would need a way to contain that or virtualize it, basically, and that's just not feasible to do from a game engine perspective, at least not in a way that would be smart, and there are just better options like Lua, which can easily be contained. Oh, good, good. I did not join the game yet. I've got entirely too much going on as is. So I didn't get involved. I do like the theme though of spreading. I think that is very, very cool. And also I'm filthy, so my mind was doing terrible things with that. I also spent almost the entire day on Discord waiting for updates about the one ferret that is very sick. Good. Oh crap. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a really cool mechanic. Um, Actually, that almost feels a little bit like Heartbound, except that you're affecting other people rather than your own personal story. That's very cool. Let me close this. It's a good goal. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would worry more about just having fun, you know, learning a new thing, or just working within the constraint that you're given is, and conquering that challenge. Um, when I first started programming, I would often give myself really dumb remedial tasks to just solve for the sake of solving it. Godot, okay. I still haven't checked that out. I haven't had time. Since it apparently specializes in 2D and I had no fucking idea. I've been trying to stream the Once Human beta as much as I possibly can because the beta's going away soon. I think it goes away at the end of January, So I want to get as much of that in as I possibly can. And then today I had to take the kids to Disney on Ice. That was a whole thing. There were a lot of screaming children there. And then, it was fun though. It was fun. And then, let's see, tomorrow my middle child has a wrestling meet I have to take him to. I don't have time to learn things, I have kids. So, I want to though. I really want to check out Godot. I want to check out, oddly enough, I actually want to check out RPG Maker too. Just because it's very specific in what it does, and it's been my experience that tools that do a specific job tend to do it very, very well. No. You know what? It made me sad a little bit, but also happy. But it made me sad that it was necessary. That we went to the Disney on Ice thing, and I had to walk through a metal detector to go in. Now, I mean, that may not be new for anybody else, but I don't really go out. I'm an introvert. If I go out, it's to Walmart or the other local stores to buy things that I need, and then I come home. That's it. Or I go out and I go to work, because I work in scrap metal removal with one of my buddies. And, and again, we don't interact with a lot of people. We go to a person's house, we haul all their heavy junk metal into the back of the truck, and then we drive away. We don't interact with thousands and thousands of people. I avoid it. So going to the arena, and I had to walk through a metal detector, and I wear steel-toe boots, so that set it off, Yeah, but that's what made me sad about it. Like, and the fact of the matter is, it's true, and that's what makes me sad, is that it was necessary. That we live in a time when it is important to make sure that all the people that are going into a place that is designed for kids to have fun is not going to get shot up or bombed or some other terrible, terrible thing. Also, it means I can't bring my 45 with me. Not that I would want to. Not with that many people around. That's it's actually how you get it stolen from you. Yeah, it really is. My guns are definitely the best investments I've made in a long time. And I've got a couple of really cool hand-me-downs too, which I'm really, really happy with. And I unfortunately can't show anybody any of them because they're hand-me-downs, One is an old black powder rifle that is like you have to, pack the powder in it, wad, shot, and that thing is an absolute cannon. And I've got an old double-barrel shotgun. It's just, the barrels go forever. I'm pretty sure this thing is a goose gun. Like, it is just a gigantically long barrel. It's ridiculous. I would never want to have to shoot at a person with it, because wielding it is just, you're all over the place. It's ungodly heavy. But it's cool. I keep them locked away. When the kids grow up a little bit and they're of age, I'll probably mount them on the wall somewhere. Just because they are very old and they make really, really nice showpieces. Well, it's not just a matter of Twitch, right? It's because I'm multi-platform. I'm going to take this video and I'm going to download it after I'm done streaming, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And while you are allowed to show firearms on YouTube, you inevitably get that one person that complains about it. and they'll report the video, and then YouTube looks into it, and they want to try to make it, there's threats of violence in here, and then I have to go through that process, and you only get to do that so many times, right? And I believe it's 3. After your 3rd strike, you're done. YouTube cancels your channel. You don't exist anymore. And if you want to continue YouTubing, you start over. And building a community on YouTube is not an easy task. I'm up to a little under 1,300 people, a little under 1,400 people. I can't remember. Check my analytics real quick. I have 1,351 current subscribers. It has taken me since April to get that. I don't want to have to do that crawl all over again. So I unfortunately have to keep my material a bit tame. Now there's a lot of people I do see, like short video shorts and stuff of people showing off their weapons and whatnot, and good for them. You know, I'm glad, but I won't risk my channel over it. I'm not even monetized yet. That's where I'm at. I haven't even gotten monetized, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot before I get there. I am trying very hard to make online communities my job as opposed to having to go out and haul scrap metal every day. Because I love my best friend that I work with. I've known him since I kid you not, since we were in 7th grade. He is my best friend in the whole world. He owns his own business doing this. He makes an absolutely egregious amount of money doing it. It's fantastic. I'm super happy for him. But the work is hard. It's very hard, and I'm getting old. I have a herniated disc. I definitely should not be lifting 700 and 800 pound boilers, and we do it because I have bills to pay, and that's what needs to be done to make sure my bills are paid. Just keep at it, man. You'll get more subs. Keep at it. And I'll give you a little tip. Make shorts. Don't make a lot of them. Don't depend on them, but make shorts. Young people, right up into I want to say people up until about 37 years old right now. So from people that are 13 to 37, shorts are their primary form of entertainment. Short form content, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube. People just don't have the attention span to watch full-length videos anymore. So you want 60-second bursts of dopamine, basically, and it's terrible, but that's where the market is right now. So if you're looking to get subscribers, make shorts. Make quick, interesting shorts. Try to keep them under 45 seconds, although YouTube gives you a minute. Again, let me just... That's not how you spell that. Content. Let me go to my... Oh, I broke that, right? Because I didn't want to stream while I was uploading. It's my analytics. Oh, I have to go to my content first. Shorts, content. Let's find a really good one here. It's got quite a few views. Oh, it's got just over 2,000 views. Okay. Now we'll go to analytics. Look at this. Okay. This is watch time. You'll notice as the video goes on, fewer and fewer people are watching it. Okay. Right about here, 28 seconds, I've lost 52% of the people that actually stopped to watch the video. So shorter is better. And this isn't because my content is bad. I've got 1,300 people subscribed to me. It's obviously not terrible. It's obviously not great either, right? I do a lot of super controversial, very political things on YouTube. So because I'm a hardcore conservative that plays video games. Figure that one out. I'm not a hardcore conservative. I'm more moderate, but I lean conservatively. Anyway, I have a lot of polarized views that I do talk about on YouTube, and because of that, like within the first like few seconds, I'm going to lose a whole bunch of people, and you see that here, and that's because those are the people that do not agree with my ideologies. So that doesn't count. But everything past that, this is people actively losing interest in the discussion. Okay, now I was telling you about my buddy that has a scrap metal business. He also has a YouTube channel. His analytics look identical to mine, except he's got way more subscribers. Okay, but his shorts, same thing. Steady drop off all the way across. People just don't have the attention span to watch long content anymore. If they're not getting that instant gratification, they don't care and they just swipe on by. The other thing you could do is play the long game. Make the full length videos. This is not what I want. With a decent production value. Okay. This is when I was doing some woodworking and stuff outside. When I was working on a very cool table. If I could find any of my information. There we go. This did not do well. We got 130 views. I got 1 subscriber off of this video. That's the next one. No, it's not. It's the same one. But you see the engagement is way up. Or not the engagement, rather. The attention. If I can find it. Here it is. So again, this list, okay, this initial drop off, these are people that clicked my link or clicked my video from someone else's video because YouTube recommended it. And they were like, I don't care about this shit. And they went and did something else. Or people that had autoplay on and it just automatically went to my video. They heard my voice and was like, that dude sounds like Urkel. I don't want to listen to him. And moved along. And I get that. My voice is annoying. I don't like it either. Okay. So, and then everything after that, you'll see it's pretty stable. It does go down a little bit, but then it comes back up. Like, and this is people skipping through the video too a little bit, like, because I'm a little long-winded about how I describe stuff. Oh yeah, dude, my voice is super annoying. I hate my voice. I hate it. I also don't care. I know my voice is annoying. I can't fucking change it, so I just use it. It's my voice. I mean, unless I want to bring it all the way down here and use the super deep voice, but that's hard to maintain and it's really loud and it booms to the house. I don't want to wake anybody up. Crap. Oh my god, I forgot to get a second monitor. I have a second monitor. I need to go grab it. Alright. I'm going to switch back to OBS though. And we can close this. I don't need that. You know what? I'm going to leave it open. And I'm going to just Control A. And there you go. That can live somewhere else now. Minimize that. OBS. Alright. I will be right back. Amongst the other things I do, this is one of them. And I don't smoke in the house, so I'll be right back. RPG Maker is most likely. Why is my nothing working? There we go. Most likely paid for. Rearm my. Yeah, no, let's not have that. Yeah, I kind of figured it would be. Is that it? Oh wow, it's actually costly too. Jeez. If this is the right thing, do I have the right thing here? Wow, for the whole kit. Jeez. I mean, again, it's a targeted thing, right? It does a specific job and it does it well. So when you get a tool that does one thing and only that thing, you typically have to pay out the nose for it. I mean, I guess $80 isn't a lot considering what you get. I mean, if you make a game with it and you sell the game at $10 a pop, you only need to sell 8 games to make your investment back on the tool, right? That's not really a lot, and you will likely sell a lot more than 8 games. I mean, even if you only sell a few hundred, you're not gonna become the next Jeff Bezos, but you'll turn a profit. Yeah, no, I fully understand that, right? Like, 'cause, we're in the same boat, man. Um, I'm crap baskets. There we go. I'm I quite often struggle to keep things together around here, so I understand. Like I said, I work at scrap metal removal. While my best friend is turning an absolute killer profit, I make anywhere between $100 and $150 a day, and I've got really big bills for really big things. You know, house is a mortgage, car's paid off, thankfully. But car insurance is a monthly thing, or not a monthly thing, every 3 or 6 months. I can't remember. The wife takes care of that. Um, and then all of the kids' birthdays come one right after the other. Electric is a lot. I live in a really, really big house. Um, it used to be 2 houses at one time, and then a common wall between them had a door installed in it, and it was only a couple years ago the house caught fire, and when it caught fire we had to move into a motel, and we lived there for 16 months while they fixed the house during COVID. And while they did that, we had the house properly converted to a single family dwelling, with only a single power meter. So we weren't getting 2 electric bills anymore. And the house has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms in it, and 2 bathrooms. Half the house is electric heat, the back half, and the front half of the house is water-based radiators, like floor, like radiant heat, that comes off of an indirect water heater, that is natural gas powered. So I've got bills all over the place. I fully understand being broke, like, all the time. Like, this is the story of my life. That is quite often the case. Yeah, if you get the job you want. Obviously, I'm not doing the job that I want. I'm doing the job that I've got, because that's what pays bills, mostly. Um, Is it an education thing or? Because I've found that I can do most anything. I mean, I've worked as a dishwasher. I've worked as a carpenter. I've worked as I worked as a vending machine delivery man. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, no, I totally get that. Um, but you know, work where the money is, regardless of what your degree is, right? So if you have a medical degree, and that's good. Um, you know, definitely try for those jobs. But my grandmother used to say all the time, half a loaf of bread is better than none. So if you're not getting the work that you want, get the work that you can get until you can get something better, right? Always keep your application moving. Always keep your resume out in the world. Always. You should always be looking for an upgrade somewhere. You know, I have my resume on Dice.com, and I actually had it on Monster.com too, but I took it down because I was getting a lot of garbage from things that I just are so far out of my realm of understanding. Like I would receive messages from like OEM installers and wanted like custom software for actually medical devices. You know, writing firmware and whatnot. I don't do that. That's way outside of my. I don't even want to say comfort zone. That's outside of my skill set. I have zero experience doing that. Um, yeah. I mean, are you still in school? Okay. You have a part time job somewhere, flipping burgers or sweeping parking lots or whatever. Yeah. Keep looking, man. Keep looking. Even if it's part time, right? Like it doesn't even have to be, you know, every day. You're still in school, and that's a lot, especially in your field. I imagine there's a lot of studying to do. I know a little bit about anatomy, and I know there's a lot of bones. There's a lot of different muscles, and it's a lot to memorize. And I know you are required to know all of those things. And if you're talking about surgery, well, I mean, Jesus, that's its own entity of understanding how not to kill people, because that can happen pretty easily. Um, so it's a lot. So I mean, if you only get something on weekends or whatever, you know, there's something to be said for volunteer work, right? Volunteer work looks really good on your resume. Um, but there's this other really important thing you have to be mindful of. And give me just a second here, and I'll get it up on my phone and show you. Um, 100% my phone's not going to work, right? Yeah, it's totally going to work. Okay. Well, they changed it. They changed the way it looks. 25% that. Okay, that's your credit score. You're gonna wanna be mindful of that more than anything else. Okay. I don't even know if you can see that. Like, I have no idea because I can't see my own camera. um, yeah, man. Everything's expensive. Everything, and it keeps getting more and more expensive every year. Everything does. Food, goods, clothing. The most basic necessities that we need to function, or even those are becoming cost prohibitive. Sometimes, like I shop at Salvation Army. I work in scrap metal removal. Everything I own gets utterly destroyed. I don't buy nice clothes. That's stupid. You know? No, medical school is not cheap. Not at all. Most schools aren't cheap, but med school is notoriously expensive, even compared to those. Like, med school and law school are pretty much like top of the mark for this is how you spend the next 10 years of your life in debt. I don't recommend colleges to anyone unless you are actively pursuing a career where that college education would be necessary, such as you. You are literally a shining example of that. You want to be a surgeon, therefore you must go to medical school. If for no other reason, you might end up working on me one day and I don't want to die. So I would like for you to be educated. But also because there's government mandates about who's qualified to do what. But I get tired of seeing in college or in high school and even middle school now where students are being pushed and pressured to think about what they want to do with their life so that they can pick the appropriate college and college courses for that. And it's not necessary. Oh, dude, accounting is cool shit. If you've got a mind for numbers, accounting is cool shit. It really is. Those people do filthy wizard magic with money, and it is amazing. Okay. My buddy, again, with the scrap metal, he has an accountant that handles all of his business, so to speak, so that he can write off a lot of different business expenditures as tax write-offs. Like, we go through Sawzall blades like crazy. We go through cutting wheels for angle grinders like crazy, and they're not cheap. Like a package of Sawzall blades, good Sawzall blades, are $100 a pack. You know, cut-off wheels are like $4 or $5 a wheel. Oh, yeah, there's that. But also, I found, and I try not to give this to people as advice because I feel kind of slimy about it, but it's my own personal opinion, so do what you want with it. I'm an artist. I like to draw, sketch. I'm not much on paint, but I love to draw. And people told me the whole time I was growing up that I should pursue art as a career. And I didn't want to because I didn't want to turn something I love into work. Because then I wouldn't love it anymore. I'd be forced to do it. And if you really love math that much, yeah, no, probably don't do that. Do that for you on the side as a break from the stresses of everything that are keeping you down. If doing complicated math-based Sudokus is your thing, if solving absolutely ridiculous equations is your thing, then by all means, save that for you. Because sometimes people just don't have enough outlets. They don't have enough of the things that they truly enjoy in their life, and their lives are just beaten down and are full of the mundane. Well, no, I don't really do my own art. All of the art that is in that game that I made, that I'm making, I took from OpenGameArt.com. I made one thing. One thing. I made the little X-shaped barricades. And when I say I made it, I mean I opened up Photoshop. I went to the text tool. I made an X on screen. I gave a bevel emboss with a literally a right click to add a filter and a stroke. And that is all. That is the whole thing. I made it in 30 seconds. That's not art. That was a cheap hack to get a point across that this is a barricade. They can be. I guess. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. What I was the point of my video tonight that I was doing was on Perl, and specifically how Perl applies to web development and why it's more secure than most other languages like PHP or Ruby on Rails or Python for web dev, and why I prefer using Perl, because web design is something that I absolutely love doing. I've been building websites since I was 16 years old, and I've used most technologies out there with the exception of JSP. I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole because I want my web apps to work. Anyway, I did do this as a career. I was a web developer for a while, and I took something I absolutely loved doing, and I fucking hated it overnight. It was ridiculous. Because web development is fun when I'm making the things that I want to make. When I'm building cool new templates, or I'm writing CSS that does an interesting thing that nobody else has thought of yet, or I'm coming up with really cool prototypes and ideas for stuff you just don't see. That's fun. I get to think outside the box and work on something entirely different. And I get to manage all of that. As a web developer, though, professionally, I don't have creative control over the project. Whoever's paying me does. So they issue me functionally a list of demands. We call it a design document. And in there is a list of all the features that must be implemented in a lot of ways, and a lot of times, how those features are to be implemented. Like, if a website is going to require a login, okay, well, that's kind of vague. How are we doing the login? Am I doing the login? Am I doing like my own password encryption or hashing methods, or are we doing like OAuth? Are we using like Google single sign-on? And I don't get to make that decision. It's not my decision to make. That's up to whoever's paying me. And sometimes those people make really fucking dumb decisions. Just absolutely stupid. They want to use tools that are either grossly expensive or just don't work to do the things they think it should do, because somewhere on that tool's website it advertises that it does that. And it may do that, just not well or not securely. And when I try to explain these things to those clients, sometimes I get a receptive client that says, "Oh, I didn't know that. Let me talk to my people and I'll get back to you." And sometimes I get a code monkey, go write code, not make decisions. I've literally been told that. And those are the projects I have to give back. Like I won't do them. Because I won't put my name on a project that is going to be released into a production environment that has serious security vulnerabilities that I know about. And can't fix because the vulnerabilities are introduced by a toolkit that is being used that I have no control over. And that hurts. That hurts me. Because I'm trying to do this to make money, and I can't. Because I'm I'm morally bound to not do that. It made it hard. I did it for, professionally, I did it for about 5 years. And then I just stopped. I just stopped. I can't. On top of that, there's the constant chasing people for money. Um, because you get like startup companies and whatnot that will outsource their website because they don't have anybody in-house capable enough. And that's fair. So they hire me. They tell me, we need this, 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 and this, and this. And I go, go install WordPress. Oh, no, 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 no. We don't want it to be a basic WordPress site. And we don't really know enough about it. We want something better. Okay. Okay. And then I build them their thing. I give them the thing they want. I spend 4 months on development, because it's hyper secure, and I build my own environment from the ground up, and then they don't pay me. So I give them a month, and then I take their website back down. And they get mad, and they threaten to sue me, even though they haven't paid me. And it creates a nightmare. So, it's just not worth it. And now we've got tools like Wix and other website builders and whatnot. Building websites by hand the way I do it is a dying thing. Nobody's going to be doing it anymore in the next 10 years. It'll either be point-and-click web development or AI generated. Yeah. And it happens more often than you think, especially with contractors, right? And especially for small amounts of money. When you're talking about anything under, I believe it's under $100 in my state, goes to small claims court, which is usually pretty easy to settle. The problem is nobody builds a website for $100, all right? Even if it's $500-$600 for something really small, it doesn't go to small claims court. It goes to big boy court, or big boy court. And then that's a whole process of filing paperwork, of essentially you have to hire a lawyer because the amount of paperwork you have to file, it just will bury you. And plus knowing what you're doing, right? So if I have to get documents from a person who didn't pay me, right? You have to subpoena those documents. Well, to get a subpoena for those documents, you have to motion for not discovery. That's criminal court. I can't remember what it's called, but it gets to be a giant pain in the butt in a field that I am not super well educated on. So I have to hire a lawyer. Well, a lawyer for the average person is between $1,000 and $1,500 just as a retainer. For a business entity, that number is a lot higher. And that's just a retainer. That doesn't mean they did any work yet. So now I have to spend $12,000 on a lawyer and fees so that I can sue a person for $1,200 if they didn't pay me. I mean, plus all the other legal fees will get tacked on to the end of that. If I win the case, they'll get, whoever I'm suing will essentially pay all of those bills. But that still takes 6 months, 8 months, a year. And that's a year where I still haven't been paid. And now I can't work as much because I'm tied up in court. It's... Working for yourself is a giant pain in the balls. Well, Thor hasn't said anything about there not being a stream tonight, so I assume that he will have a stream at 4 a.m. my time, as he usually does. I hope. I saw him do playtime with the ferrets a few hours ago. Oh, did it say no stream? That was yesterday, bud. Sorry, I did the same thing when I looked at it this morning. Oh, shit, I'm tired. Okay, not that. Not that. That has to stay open. Where's Kitty? Kitty. There we go. Oh, crap. Stop doing that. You have. It's kind of a crappy hour. You know, I don't really expect a lot of people. Like I said, I was actually just using this as a way to record the video for YouTube. And then I'll dump it into a clip champ and edit out the bits that aren't super important for the video topic. I definitely cannot say you're not committed. But hey, the upside is I'm not a partner. I'm not an affiliate. I'm nothing to Twitch, so I don't get ads. I don't think I get ads anyway. That's good. Here's a fun thing a lot of people don't know. As a Twitch partner, and as an affiliate, since you do get ads at that point, you as a creator in the video in the stream dashboard on Twitch, you can actually pause the ads. Not you sleep them basically. You could put them off for like 5 minutes or something. It's only 50? Really? Huh. So I've been making posts on my YouTube about the fact that I stream on Twitch. I should probably make a video about that. Well, I mean, let's have a look. We'll learn together. Oh. Right, yeah, you know what, I did see this. Okay, so it looks like partners average of 75, and I think affiliate is average of 3 viewers, stream on 7 different days, and stream for 8 hours. Well, I've got 8 hours kicked for sure. 7 different days I've got, probably. And 3 viewers. And then also reach 50 followers. Oh yeah, it says that right at the top there, where I just, I was looking below the banner for some reason. Yeah, reach 50 followers, and then partner is there's a specific requirement? Nope. No, there is not. Just 30-day performance. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. Okay. Cool. I mean, I guess I could probably manage that the next couple of months. Crap. I'm going to stop, being a dumbass with OBS. I don't remember how many I have. I have more than what's obvious. Um, but most of the people that are following me are people that followed me years and years ago. So I used to be a Minecraft, like I'm really, really big into Minecraft. And I ran a server network for a while. Um, it is unfortunately dead now. And it wasn't my server network. It belonged to a friend of mine, or a guy I thought was a friend of mine. Um, the server network was called Mine a Lot. I know it sounds cheese, but we put a lot of work and effort into it. I kept everything updated. I was basically the lead dev and engineer behind the whole project. The guy that owned everything really was just a glorified builder. And I mean, don't get me wrong, his builds were good. They were beautiful. But he wasn't a technically savvy person. So what I did was I wrote a bunch of bash scripts basically, just to kind of tool up the Linux machine that all of our servers were running on, so that he would be able to easily start, stop them, restart them as they needed. That way I didn't have to man my computer 24 hours a day. And I built custom plugins. I built custom database interactions for the whole thing. I built a custom band manager because because it was a server network. It's multiple servers tied together by a single hub server, and we wanted it so that if you were banned on one server, you were banned on all of them. So I built a database tool that would hook. I built an entire plugin that stored all the information in a MySQL database. So that when you banned somebody, their data went there, and then every time a player would log in, the plugin would grab their name and then eventually their UUID, because they changed the way it worked. Their UUID, and would look in the database to see if they were a banned person, and then just kick them if they were banned. So, um, 8 days, 14 hours, Jesus. I don't even think I'm up to 8 days. I might be. But while I worked on the network, I used to stream it. I was working on some custom plugins and stuff, and custom world maps for that plugin. I was creating like a whole mini game thing, and I was streaming the development of all of that while I was building the world with Voxel Sniper. Um, ooh. Yep, that's gonna be the end of that. Hang tight. OBS, OBS, OBS. We're gonna turn that off because there are people stirring in the house. Anyway, I still need that open so I can see chat. There we go. Crap, I forgot what I was talking about now. I know it was Minecraft related, I just don't remember where it was in the story. Oh, I was streaming it. So I had a lot of people from the community were following me and just watching me build the whole thing, because a lot of them were kids, that wanted to learn what I did and how I did it, and didn't really have any resources for it, so they would just watch me, and which was pretty cool. I did end up teaching one kid how to write plugins, and he unfortunately never did anything with that knowledge. Yeah, but he grew up and he's doing other things with his life. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But still, it was cool. So I have a bunch of followers, but none of them even get notifications about me anymore, I don't think. Twitch. That's, oh god, that's bright. I want my video producer. That's what I want. Weird. Now I want my creator dashboard. And because it actually tells you in here all of your stats. If I can remember where it is. It's not Stream Manager. I know it is community content settings. Yeah, that's my full list of followers. But you know, as I said, most of these people don't even know I exist anymore. It's been over a decade. And some of these people are bots. And I don't know which ones are bots. There's you. Yeah, so when I first started streaming, again, over a decade ago, I didn't realize bots weren't really a thing. So when I came back to streaming, just a few weeks ago, I got really excited because I was playing Warframe. Actually, I was streaming Warframe, and again, I couldn't see chat because I played the game in full screen. So when I was done streaming, I didn't expect anyone to come into the stream because it's fucking Warframe, and there's 1,000 people already streaming it that probably already have a much bigger following than me. I wasn't expecting anyone. So when I was done with the stream, I looked back on my OBS, and I had like 30 people in my chat, and they weren't saying anything. They were just there. And I'm like, wait, what? And it wasn't for a couple more days that I realized that fucking bots. They're not real people. So let's sigh. So now I don't know who's who. Like, I know who Norman is, but that's one of my monolotters from way back when. But Bacon is a lie is a Minecrafter. Aslan's a Minecrafter. Yuki's a Minecrafter. Skittle Girl is a Minecrafter and an ex-girlfriend. Ray he's a Minecrafter. Lena, Stimp, I don't know, from like here on, I don't know, that's my wife. From here on, I don't know, other than you, obviously, because I'm sitting here talking to you. Like, Ohio Vision, I have no idea who this is. Who are you? Can I click your channel? Yes. You have 60 followers, so you're not... probably not a bot. Okay, well, he looks like he's about as organized as me. Which is to say, not at all. Don't smoke, it's bad for you. Dallas, no idea. Oh, yeah, I'm not organized at all. Not yet. I'm working on getting my shit together. I want to get stream avatars. I think that is a very cool thing, but I'm waiting on it because I don't have enough people in chat to make stream avatars even fun to use yet. But I see the Ferret software and Pirate software uses it, and they're a lot of fun. Let's get a Ferret software real quick here. I'll just pause the audio, or yeah, there we go, mute the audio. And I don't know if you know you can do this, but watch this. If I attack Ferret software, right, we'll put a little app there. I don't know if you can even do this, but just like that. First, my little stream avatar will pop into existence, and then, whee! Throw them off the screen. So it's just, but you need a community of people actually, you know, using the stream avatars to make that fun. Wow, nobody said anything about that? Jeez. 500 people in here, and nobody said anything. Anyway. So the stream avatars are fun, but again, you need a community for it to be worthwhile. They aren't terribly expensive. I was looking at them on Steam, and I think they're only like $25 or something. $15? I don't remember. That's obnoxious. They're $15. But from what I understand, you pretty much have to get this extension too if you plan to upload more than one graphic pack to it. Oh my god, I keep clicking that. So for $20, you know, it adds a great community interaction thing. Okay, me too. I'm gonna smoke again. it's safe to say the stream got 100% derailed, so I should probably turn some of this stuff off. That off to the side, I keep forgetting. And then I can actually turn that back on. No, wait, no I can't because I don't have the waves up yet. Alright, well, unfortunately this party's over. My 3-year-old woke up and she's very sick. She sounds like she just smoked a whole carton of cigarettes, so I'm going to go attend to that. We'll try this again tomorrow night. And I appreciate you stopping by, bud.
You have the lamp on? I'm sorry.